Listen to me carefully. There is something Allah is doing in your life right now, but you can't see it yet. And if you leave before you understand this, you'll miss the very reason He made you watch this video today. My brother, my sister, this is not a coincidence. If you're hearing these words right now, maybe this is the sign you've been begging Allah for. I know you're tired. Tired of trying, tired of being misunderstood, tired of praying for doors that keep closing. You've been carrying battles no one knows about, and yet somehow you're still standing. But here's what you don't see yet. Allah hasn't abandoned you. He hasn't overlooked you. He hasn't delayed you to punish you. He's been planting you, hiding you, protecting you, while He finishes writing a chapter so powerful that when it unfolds, even you won't recognize yourself. Stay with me until the end, because once you understand what's happening behind the silence, you'll never see your life the same way again. You are already written in the book of victory. My brother, my sister, I know you're tired. I know you're exhausted from fighting battles nobody sees. You've been carrying the weight of people's opinions, their doubts, their whispers, and somewhere along the way, you started believing you had to prove yourself to them. You wake up every morning trying to be enough in the eyes of those who were never written to understand you. You shrink your dreams to make them comfortable. You silence your heart just so they don't laugh. You walk through life collecting pieces of yourself you gave away to gain their approval, but somehow it's never enough. Pause for a moment, just breathe, listen carefully. You don't need them to believe in you when Allah already chose you. The world doesn't need to see your worth. For it to exist, your value isn't measured by their applause or their silence. Before you opened your eyes in this world, before you took your very first breath, before a single voice had an opinion about you, Allah already wrote your name. He wrote your path, He wrote your purpose, and He wrote your ending. Every blessing you'll receive, every door that will open, every heartbreak you'll face, even the people who will walk away, all of it is written. So why are you breaking yourself? For those who hold no pen over your destiny, why are you exhausting your heart? For people who cannot erase a single word, Allah has written for you. They didn't choose you, they didn't create you, they don't sustain you, they don't define you. My dear soul, their opinions are temporary, but Allah's decree is eternal. Do you know what that means? It means no rejection can take away what Allah has written for you. No insult can erase your purpose. No silence can cancel your worth. They think their words hold power over you, but they don't. They think their approval is the key to your success, but it isn't. They think their doubts are louder than Allah's plan, but they're not. Because when Allah has chosen you, it doesn't matter who misunderstands you. When Allah has written your victory, it doesn't matter who counts you out. When Allah says be, there is no power in creation that can stop what is meant for you. You've been chasing recognition from people who don't even know. The prayers you cried into your pillow at night, you've been waiting for their validation, but they never saw the nights you begged Allah for strength. They don't know your silent battles. They don't know the weight your chest carries. They don't know the storms your soul survived. But Allah knows every tear, every heartbreak, every moment you doubted yourself, and every night you stayed awake asking Him, when will it be my time? He heard it all, He saw it all, and He wrote it all. So stop proving yourself to those who were never assigned to understand your journey. Stop exhausting your soul, trying to make them clap for you. Stop searching for a seat at their table when Allah is building you an entire kingdom in silence. You are not behind, you are not forgotten, you are not unseen right now. In this very moment, Allah is preparing something for you that your heart hasn't even imagined yet. While you think nothing is moving, angels are already carrying your name to doors you didn't know existed. Opportunities are being placed in paths you haven't even walked yet. People you haven't met are being prepared to honor the version of you Allah is still shaping in private. This season is not about proving them wrong. This season is about letting Allah finish His work on you, because one day when Allah finally unveils you, it will be undeniable. Your silence will speak louder than their doubts. Your success will answer every whisper. And the same people who laughed quietly today will watch in awe tomorrow. Not because you proved them wrong, but because Allah proved His promise right. Their opinions, their gossip, their doubts, they were never bigger than Allah's plan. So let them talk. Let them misunderstand. Let them walk away. None of it matters, because one day you will look back and realize that every heartbreak was necessary, every delay was divine, every rejection was protection. And you'll thank Allah for not giving you what you thought you wanted, because what He had written for you was far greater than anything you were chasing to impress them. My brother, my sister, stop fighting battles Allah never asked you to fight. Stop proving yourself to those who will never see you the way Allah sees you. To rest your heart and take a deep breath and trust the one who wrote your name in the book of victory long before this world ever tried to define you. My brother, my sister, there's something you need to understand today. Your worth was never meant to be measured by people who couldn't even see your soul. Do you know why you feel exhausted? Because you've been living your life as if their acceptance was the key to your happiness. You've been waiting for them to finally say, "We're proud of you." You've been craving a moment where they finally admit that you're capable, worthy, enough. But listen carefully. Even if every single person in this world praises you, their voices together cannot outweigh a single decree from Allah. And even if every single person doubts you, their whispers cannot erase what He has written for you. Their approval isn't what keeps you alive. Their applause doesn't put food on your table. Their validation doesn't open your doors. It's always been Allah. So why are you exhausting your heart for them? When your story was written by Him, when you were still in your mother's womb, Allah had already scripted every detail of your life. He wrote your name. He wrote your provision. And He wrote your moments of joy. He wrote your moments of heartbreak. He even wrote the names of those who would misunderstand you, betray you, reject you, and walk away from you. And yet here you are carrying the weight of opinions that were never yours to carry. Do you realize how much peace you've given away just to be understood by people who were never assigned to understand you? Sometimes Allah hides you not because you're unworthy, but because what He's preparing inside you is too sacred to be shared too soon. A seed grows in darkness before it ever meets the light. The roots must take hold in silence before the branches can reach the sky. That's you. Right now, you are hidden. And that's not a punishment, it's protection, because when Allah decides to unveil you, the very people who doubted you will have no choice but to witness His work. And when that day comes, it won't be you proving them wrong. It will be Allah proving His promise right. Remember His words, "Indeed, the help of Allah is near." Surah Al-Baqarah 2:214. But He didn't say when, He didn't say how, because part of faith is trusting His timing. Even when it feels like nothing is moving, you think you're behind, but you're not. You think you're forgotten, but you're not. You think you're unseen, but Allah sees you every moment, hears every silent prayer, and knows every quiet tear. Do you know what hurts the most? It's not when strangers doubt you. It's when the ones you love are the first to question you. It's when those closest to you become the loudest voices of disbelief. But maybe, just maybe, Allah is teaching you to detach your worth from the hands of people and anchor it only to Him. Because if He allowed everyone to support you now, you'd start believing they made you who you are. So He removes them, delays you, and hides you, so that when your unveiling comes, you'll know in your heart it was always Him. My dear soul, you are not in competition with anyone. You are not late. You are not failing. The truth is, you are exactly where Allah wants you to be. Even the setbacks you hate are setting up the version of you you haven't met yet. Even the heartbreaks you regret are shaping a strength inside you. You'll thank Allah for one day. Even the silence you can't stand is filled with angels writing down the prayers you thought went unanswered. And when Allah finally brings you to that moment where everything aligns, you'll understand why He delayed, why He hid you, why He kept certain doors shut, why He allowed them to doubt you. Because if they believed in you too soon, they would have claimed your success. But Allah wanted it to be undeniable that it was Him, not them, not you, not anyone else. So rest your heart. Stop chasing their applause. Stop proving yourself to those who were never written to carry your story. One day you'll look back and realize something beautiful. You never needed them to see you. You only needed Allah to choose you, and He already did. Long before you tried to convince the world, long before the whispers and the doubts, long before they turned away, you were chosen. Chosen for His mercy, chosen for His plan, chosen for a chapter that no human hand can rewrite. So breathe, be patient with His timing, and trust that the author has already signed your ending. With victory, Allah hides you to protect what He's building. My brother and my sister, Allah, have you ever wondered why it feels like nobody sees you? Why you keep trying? You keep showing up, and yet somehow it's like you're invisible. You look around and it seems like everyone else is moving ahead, being noticed, being celebrated, while you remain hidden in the background. And you ask Allah in the quiet of your heart, why me? Why am I overlooked? When will it be my time? Listen carefully. What you see as being overlooked is actually Allah's protection. He hides you. Not because you're unworthy, not because you're forgotten, but because what He is shaping inside you is too sacred for public exposure. Some blessings can only be built in silence. Some strength can only grow in private, and some versions of you can only be formed away from the eyes of people who wouldn't understand the process. A seed grows in darkness long before it meets the light. Before it ever blooms, it must break beneath the soil, hidden where no one can see it. It doesn't mean the seed is dead. It means it's preparing for life. That's you right now. Allah hasn't buried you. He's planting you. He's keeping you unseen. Because if He unveiled you too soon, the people around you would try to define you before He finishes writing you. If they saw you before your time, they would misunderstand you. They would measure you by who you used to be, instead of who Allah is shaping you into. So Allah covers you, protects you, and works on you in silence. I know it feels lonely sometimes. I know it hurts when people don't recognize your value. I know the frustration of wondering why doors keep closing, why people keep walking away, why opportunities seem to slip through your hands. But my dear soul, it's not rejection, it's redirection. Allah is protecting what He's building inside you from voices that would limit it, from hands that would harm it, and from hearts that would never value it. He is hiding you so He can prepare you. Right now in your quiet season, Allah is rewriting parts of you you didn't even know were broken. He's healing wounds you stopped talking about. He's strengthening muscles of faith you didn't even realize you had. He's aligning paths you don't yet see. And while you think nothing is happening, He is arranging everything behind the curtain of the unseen. Angels are carrying your name to doors you haven't reached yet. Opportunities are being written into your story before you even know they exist. People you haven't met yet are being prepared to honor the version of you Allah is shaping in private. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not behind. You are hidden because Allah is protecting His masterpiece. And when He finally unveils you, the same people who doubted you will not be able to explain your rise. They will see a version of you that even you won't recognize. And in that moment, they'll realize this was never about you proving them wrong. This was always about Allah proving Himself faithful. Remember the words of Allah. Indeed, the help of Allah is near. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:214. But He didn't say now. He didn't say today, because part of faith is trusting the author of your story, even when you don't understand the chapter you're in. Sometimes He delays showing you to the world because He wants the world to see the final polished version of you, the version strengthened by heartbreak, softened by patience, and purified by trust. And if He unveiled you too soon, they would try to write you into their narrative instead of the one He has written for you. So right now, in this quiet season, don't fight being unseen. Don't despise being hidden. Don't rush the process, because while you feel small, you are being prepared for something big. While you feel forgotten, your name is already being mentioned in places you haven't stepped into yet. While you feel delayed, Allah is synchronizing every piece of your destiny to meet you at the perfect moment. And when that moment arrives, you won't need to explain yourself. You won't need to prove yourself. You won't need to defend yourself. Your unveiling will speak for itself. Until then, trust the silence, trust the delay, trust the hiding, because it's not the end of your story. It's the part where Allah writes the foundation of everything you've been praying for. And when it finally unfolds, you'll realize this was never a season of abandonment. It was a season of divine preparation. My brother, my sister, do you know why Allah hides you? Because not everyone is meant to witness the process of what He's building inside you. When a masterpiece is being painted, it's covered. The artist works in silence, away from eyes that won't understand the vision. The strokes look messy at first. The colors seem scattered. The picture doesn't make sense yet. But when the artist finishes, the unveiling takes everyone's breath away. That's what Allah is doing with you. He hides you while He paints you. He conceals you while He builds you. Because if people saw you right now, in the middle of your becoming, they would misjudge you. They would misunderstand the journey before they ever saw the destination. So He shields you. He hides your growth. He lets them think nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, everything is moving, everything is aligning, everything is preparing. Right now, Allah is working on parts of you you didn't even know needed healing. He's softening your heart. He's sharpening your mind. He's deepening your patience. He's expanding your capacity to receive what you've been praying for. Do you feel delayed? It's not a delay, it's divine timing. Because if He unveiled you too soon, you wouldn't be ready for the weight of what you've been asking for. Sometimes the waiting is protection. Sometimes the silence is mercy. Sometimes the hiding is love. Remember the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. He had dreams of greatness, but Allah didn't show him to the world immediately. He hid him, first in a well, then in a stranger's home, then in a prison cell. Every chapter looked like a setback. Every turn seemed unfair. But behind the curtain, Allah was preparing him for a position he couldn't yet imagine. And when the unveiling came, the very people who doubted him had no choice but to honor him. That's you. You're in your well. You're in your quiet season. You're in the part of your story where nothing makes sense yet. But if you stay patient, if you trust His timing, the same people who overlooked you will watch Allah raise you to places you never thought you'd stand. And when they ask, how? You won't need to answer, because the story will speak for itself. My dear soul, you've been mistaking hiddenness for punishment, but it's not. It's favor, it's mercy, it's love. Allah hides you because He loves you. He shields your journey from those who would harm it. He protects your destiny from those who would pollute it. He delays your unveiling until the stage is ready, the light is perfect, and your heart is prepared. And when He finally brings you forward, you'll step into a life that fits the person He shaped in private. You'll meet blessings that match the weight of what you've endured. You'll walk through doors you didn't even know existed. So don't rush the process. Don't force your unveiling. Don't beg people to see you when Allah Himself is covering you with His protection, because when He finally reveals you, you won't need an introduction. You won't need to explain your worth. You won't need to chase their approval. Your story will be so clear, so divine, that even those who doubted you will whisper to themselves, only Allah could have written this. Until then, be at peace in your hiding. Be patient with your becoming, because what Allah is building inside you is too precious to be rushed, too sacred, and to be exposed, and too beautiful to be understood too soon. Trust the silence. Trust the stillness. Trust the hiding. Because one day, when He unveils you, you'll realize this season was never about being forgotten. It was about being prepared. The delay is Allah's greatest stage. My brother, my sisters, you've been waiting for so long. You've been praying for so long. And sometimes it feels like nothing is moving. You whisper into your pillow at night, Ya Allah, when? When will it finally happen? When will I see the life I've been begging for? You've watched doors close. You've watched people walk away. You've seen opportunities slip right through your hands. And deep down, you've wondered if maybe, just maybe, Allah has forgotten you. But listen to me carefully. You see, you are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are not delayed. Right now, you are standing on a stage. Allah Himself is preparing for you. You think you're waiting for the blessing, but the blessing is waiting for you. It's waiting for the moment when your heart is ready to carry it, when your faith is strong enough to protect it, when your hands are steady enough to hold it. Allah says, indeed the help of Allah is near. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:214. Did you notice something? He didn't say now, He didn't promise today, because part of faith is trusting His timing. Even when your patience is wearing thin, delays aren't punishments. They're divine preparations. Think of it this way. When a play is about to begin, the stage is set in silence. Behind the curtains, lights are being adjusted, props are being placed, the scene is being perfected. From the audience's view, it looks like nothing is happening. But behind the curtain, everything is falling into place. And that's your life right now. You can't see it yet, but Allah is arranging everything. The people, the places, the opportunities at the exact timing, so that when He finally lifts the curtain, your story makes sense. Do you know why Allah delays sometimes? Because if He gave you what you're asking for today, you might not be ready to hold it tomorrow. Blessings without preparation can become burdens. He's teaching you patience, building your strength, purifying your heart, and aligning you with the version of yourself who can carry the weight of what you've been praying for. Look at the life of Yusuf alayhi salam. He saw dreams of greatness as a child, but those dreams didn't come true immediately. First, he was thrown into a well. Then he was sold as a slave. Then he was trapped in prison. Every chapter looked like delay, like setback after setback. But behind the curtain, Allah was positioning him exactly where he needed to be. And when the unveiling came, the same brothers who plotted against him stood before him in awe. What felt like delay was actually divine preparation. That's your story too. Right now, Allah is writing chapters. That will make sense later. The heartbreak, the rejection, the silence, the unanswered prayers, they're not wasted. They're working for you, not against you. Sometimes He delays to protect you because the thing you're praying for today may not look like a blessing tomorrow. Sometimes He delays to align you because the version of you He's shaping in private needs to meet the blessing at the perfect moment. And sometimes He delays simply because He loves you. Think about that for a moment. If Allah gave you everything you asked for, the moment you asked for it, you wouldn't pray as deeply. You wouldn't cry as sincerely. You wouldn't learn to rely on Him the way you do now. So He delays, not to break you, but to build you, and not to deny you, but to prepare you, not to punish you, but to elevate you. Every unanswered dua, every delayed blessing, every silent chapter is part of a greater story you haven't read yet. And one day when Allah finally unveils it, you'll look back and say, Subhanallah, if He gave me what I wanted, when I wanted it, I would have missed what He was preparing for me. Right now, you feel like nothing is happening, but the angels are already moving. Doors are being prepared to open, and names are being written next to yours in places you haven't stepped into yet. What you thought was stillness is actually divine orchestration. Allah delays so that when He finally writes your chapter of victory, it's loud enough for the world to witness and undeniable enough for your heart to never doubt again. And so stop rushing His plan. Stop questioning His timing. Stop measuring yourself by where others are today. You're not behind them. You're on your own path. And your path has been written with a precision you couldn't understand even if you tried. This isn't punishment. This isn't failure. This isn't abandonment. This is preparation. Because when Allah finally unveils you, the delay will make sense. The heartbreak will make sense. The rejections will make sense. Even the unanswered du'as will make sense. And in that moment, you'll understand that Allah was never silent. He was setting the stage. He was aligning the lights. He was perfecting the script. Your role is to stay patient, stay trusting, and stay connected to Him. Because when the curtain finally rises, your unveiling will leave no doubt. This was Allah's plan. From the very beginning, my brother, my sister, I know you've been waiting. I know you've been praying. And sometimes the silence feels unbearable. You look at your life and think, why is nothing changing? Why am I still here while everyone else seems to be moving ahead? You scroll through your phone, you see others celebrating milestones, you hear stories of success, and a quiet thought creeps into your chest. Did Allah forget me? Listen carefully. Allah has never forgotten you, not for a single heartbeat, not for a single tear, not for a single dua. The delay you hate so much is not a sign of neglect. It's a sign of divine precision, because what Allah is preparing for you is bigger than what you're praying for. He's setting the stage for a moment that will leave you speechless. When an architect builds something extraordinary, the foundation always takes the longest. It's the part nobody sees, but it's also the part that holds everything together. If you rush the foundation, the building collapses, and that's why Allah is taking His time with you. He's not delaying you to hurt you. He's grounding you, deepening your roots, making sure your heart, your faith, and your soul are strong enough to handle the weight of what's coming. Because what He's preparing for you will not be small. And the greater the blessing, the deeper the preparation. Do you remember the story of Musa alayhi salam? From the moment he was born, his life was a sequence of what looked like delays. First, he was placed in a river as an infant. Then he grew up in the house of the Pharaoh, the very man who would later try to destroy him. Later, he fled into the desert, wandering, searching, waiting. Years passed, and people forgot about him. But Allah hadn't forgotten. Allah was shaping him in silence, strengthening him in solitude, preparing him for the moment when he would stand before Pharaoh and say, "Indeed, we are the messengers of the Lord of the worlds." Surah Ash-Shu'ara 26:16. From forgotten to chosen, from hidden to honored, that's what Allah does. And that's what He's doing with you right now. You're in your desert season. You're in your quiet chapter. The world doesn't see you, but the author of your story is still writing you into His plan. And when the unveiling comes, it'll be so clear that it was never delayed. It was always right on time. But here's the hard part. Delays test the heart like nothing else does. Because the longer you wait, the louder the whispers of doubt become. You start to think, maybe it's not meant for me. Maybe Allah doesn't want this for me. Maybe I'm not good enough. But none of that is true. Delays don't mean no. They mean not yet. Because sometimes Allah doesn't just prepare the blessing for you. He prepares you for the blessing. He shapes your patience. He purifies your intentions. And He teaches you to detach from people and lean entirely on Him. He creates a version of you who can handle the very thing you're praying for. And think about it. You've survived heartbreaks. That once convinced you you'd never smile again. You've endured closed doors. That once felt like the end. But every time that Allah rebuilt you stronger, and one day you'll see that even this delay was His way of making you unshakable. Because when the blessing finally arrives, you'll carry it with wisdom, gratitude, and faith. And that's the version of you Allah wants to see. And when it happens, the unveiling won't be quiet. It won't be subtle. It won't be something people can ignore. The same ones who doubted you will watch you rise to a place they never thought you'd reach. And they'll have no choice but to whisper, this could only be Allah. So breathe. Stop measuring yourself by their timelines. Stop comparing your life to theirs. Stop thinking you're late. You're exactly where Allah wants you to be. Not a step behind, not a moment early. You're right on time. Because this isn't just a delay. This is Allah setting the stage. The lights are being adjusted. The curtains are still closed. The world doesn't see it yet. But behind the scenes, everything is falling into place. And when the curtain finally rises, you'll understand why Allah made you wait. You'll understand why the doors were shut. You'll understand why the people left. You'll understand why every heartbreak was part of the preparation. And you'll whisper to yourself, Subhanallah, He never forgot me. He was preparing me all along. They think you're buried, but Allah is planting you. My brother, my sister, I know right now it feels like life has buried you. You've been through heartbreaks that broke pieces of your soul you never thought could heal. You've watched people you trusted walk away. You faced closed doors you thought would finally open for you. And slowly and silently, you've started to believe that maybe Allah has hidden you, forgotten you, or abandoned you. But listen to me, what feels like burial is actually planting. The darkness you're in right now is not the darkness of the grave, it's the darkness of the soil. And there's a difference. When something is buried, it's gone, it's lifeless, it's finished. But when something is planted, it's hidden for a purpose. It's covered to be protected, and it's kept in the dark because new life is about to grow. That's where you are right now. Allah hasn't buried you, He's planting you. The weight you feel pressing on your soul right now is not punishment, it's the soil wrapping around the seed to keep it safe. The darkness around you isn't evidence that you've been forgotten. It's proof that something is happening beneath the surface that no one can see yet. And here's the beautiful thing about seeds. Before they grow, they must break. They split apart in silence. They lose the shape they used to have so they can become something greater than they ever imagined. That's you right now. This breaking you feel, it's not the end, it's the becoming. Allah is stripping away the old version of you. The one that was built on fear, on people's approval, on wounds you've been carrying for too long. He's making space inside you for the version He's about to raise from this very soil. Remember the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. His own brothers threw him into a well thinking they had erased him from their lives. Later he was sold as a slave. Then he was locked away in prison, forgotten by the world. And if you looked at his life in that moment, you'd think it was over, buried, hopeless, finished. But behind the curtain, Allah was planting him. And when the time came, the same Yusuf who was thrown away was raised to a position where even kings stood before him in need. That's what Allah does. He turns pits into platforms. He turns betrayal into elevation. He turns the moments that were meant to break you into the very soil that grows the strongest version of you. So if you feel hidden right now, if you feel unseen, if you feel like life has covered you in darkness, don't panic, don't despair, don't think Allah has buried you. Seeds stay in the dark for a season, but seasons change. And when the rain comes, the same soil that once held you down becomes the soil that nourishes you. The weight you feel today is the very thing feeding your tomorrow. And one day soon you will rise, not quietly and not slowly, but in full bloom. And when you rise, people will look at you in disbelief. They'll whisper to each other, "We thought they were finished. We thought they were gone. We thought it was over." But you'll smile quietly because you'll know the truth. They thought I was buried, but Allah was planting me. And when that unveiling comes, you'll carry something far greater than success. You'll carry wisdom and patience, faith, a strength you didn't know you had, a closeness to Allah you wouldn't trade for the world, because the people who bloom too quickly wilt just as fast, but the ones Allah plants deeply stand firm in every storm. So breathe, don't fight the soil, and don't rush the season. Don't resent the darkness, because while you think nothing is happening, everything is happening. Angels are already arranging what you've been praying for. Opportunities are being written into your story. Your name is being mentioned in places your feet haven't reached yet. The unveiling isn't cancelled, it's scheduled. And when the day comes, it will be undeniable that this was never your doing and it was always Allah. So stop mourning what you've lost. Stop fearing what you can't see. Stop listening to the whispers of those who say your story is over, because one day they will watch you bloom from the very ground they thought would hold you down forever. And in that moment, they'll finally understand that the author of your story was writing something far greater than anyone imagined. Do you know why this season feels so heavy? Because you're still trying to understand a chapter Allah hasn't finished writing yet. Right now, you're in the soil. It's quiet, it's dark. You feel hidden, forgotten, unseen. And your heart whispers, Ya Allah, why me? Why is this happening? But seeds don't bloom in the light. They bloom in silence. They bloom in darkness. They bloom in seasons when nobody notices. A farmer doesn't plant a seed and expect fruit the next morning. He trusts the process he cannot see. He knows something sacred is happening underground. Roots are forming. Strength is being built. Life is being prepared. That's where you are right now. Allah hasn't buried you. He's protecting you while He builds you. Sometimes being hidden is mercy. Because if Allah unveiled you too soon, people would measure you by who you used to be, not who He's shaping you into. They'd limit you to the version of yourself He's already replacing. So He hides you, not because you're unworthy, but because you're still becoming. You think this season is silence, but it's actually sacred construction, and your roots are going deeper. Your faith is becoming stronger. Your heart is learning patience and surrender in ways you never would have learned if life had given you everything too quickly. And that's the thing about deep roots. They grow where no one can see them. Nobody claps for the roots. Nobody admires the roots. But without them, the tree could never stand. That's why Allah covers you. Because the strength He's building inside you needs privacy to form. I know it hurts when people leave. I know it stings when they misunderstand you, judge you, or write you off. But what you don't see is that Allah sometimes removes certain voices because they would uproot you. Before you've even bloomed, He closes doors because what's behind them is too small for the person He's making you into. He delays certain blessings because you haven't yet become the version of yourself who can carry their weight. This is not punishment, this is protection, this is preparation. Remember this, the deeper the roots, the higher the rise. The greater the destiny, the longer the preparation. The stronger the future, the deeper the planting. Do you think it's a coincidence that your heart feels so heavy right now? Do you think it's random that your soul is tired but still refuses to give up? That's not weakness. That's faith being stretched like roots pushing through the soil. And when the time is right, you will break through. And not because you forced it and not because you proved yourself, but because Allah decided the world was finally ready and to witness what He built in silence. And when that moment comes, your blooming will be so loud, you won't need to speak. Your growth will explain itself. Your rise will silence every whisper. Your story will prove what your heart has always known, that Allah was with you, even in the seasons when no one else was. Think about it, about that flowers don't open by force. They bloom when the sun touches them. And the soil has done its work. Your life is no different. You don't need to rush. You don't need to panic. You don't need to compare your growth to the trees blooming around you, because what Allah has written for you will arrive at the exact second it was meant to, not earlier, not later. And on that day, you'll finally see why the soil was heavy. You'll finally understand why the darkness lasted so long. You'll finally thank Allah for every unanswered dua, every closed door, every painful ending, because all along He wasn't burying you, He was planting you. So don't resent this season and don't curse the soil. Don't doubt the silence. Allah is closer to you right now than He has ever been. The very darkness you hate is where He's building your light. The very weight you want to escape is what's anchoring your roots. And when the unveiling comes, you'll rise not just taller, but stronger, deeper, unshakable. And you'll look back at this season and whisper, Subhanallah, I thought I was buried, but all along I was being planted. The victory is silent before it's loud. My brother, my sister, there's something Allah wants you to know today. Not every victory comes with noise. Not every blessing announces itself. Not every chapter begins with a grand opening. Sometimes the greatest victories are written in silence. Right now, you're waiting for the world to see you. You're praying for a sign, for an opening, for something so clear that it leaves no doubt in your heart. And yet all you hear is silence. No doors opening, no applause, no validation, nothing. And somewhere deep down you've started to wonder, maybe I'm not chosen. Maybe my prayers aren't working. Maybe this is just who I am. Unseen, unheard, forgotten. But listen carefully. Silence is not abandonment. Silence is Allah's secret work. He hides your victories before He reveals them, so that when the unveiling comes, everyone, even you, will know. This could only be Him. Think about how a tree grows. For months, sometimes years, its roots are spreading silently beneath the soil. No one claps for the roots. No one notices them. But without them, the tree would never stand. That's you right now. Allah is strengthening your roots in silence. And before He allows your branches to rise, because blessings without preparation become burdens, and victories without deep roots collapse under pressure. So Allah delays the noise to perfect the foundation. Right now, you're in your private construction season. The world doesn't see what He's building in you, but soon they won't be able to ignore it. Do you remember the prophet, peace be upon him, in the cave of Hira? Before the first revelation came, there were years of silence, years of prayer, years of isolation, years of waiting. From the outside, it looked like nothing was happening, but in the silence, Allah was preparing him for a mission greater than anyone around him could comprehend. And when the command finally came, Iqra, read Surah Al-Alaq 96:1, everything changed. That's how Allah works. He builds in silence before He unveils with power. So if it feels quiet right now, don't mistake that for nothingness. Don't confuse stillness with stagnation, because behind the curtain everything is moving. Angels are already arranging what you've been praying for. Your name is being mentioned in places you've never stepped into. Blessings are aligning with your destiny without you even knowing it. And when it happens, it'll be sudden, it'll be undeniable, it'll be so perfectly timed that you'll know instantly. And this was Allah's doing, not yours. But here's what makes it so beautiful. When the unveiling comes, you won't need to explain yourself. You won't need to defend yourself. You won't need to prove yourself to anyone. Your silence will speak louder than their doubts. Your growth will answer every whisper. Your elevation will silence every voice that ever said you weren't enough, because your victory isn't meant to be debated. It's meant to be witnessed. Look at the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. When he sat in prison, forgotten by the world, it looked like his story had ended. But Allah was positioning him for something far greater. And when the moment came, he was called to interpret the king's dream. And within a single conversation, he went from prisoner to honored advisor. One moment, nobody knew his name. The next, everyone did. That's how Allah unveils. Quietly at first, then suddenly, loudly, undeniably. That's why this silence you hate so much is actually the safest place you can be. Because if Allah gave you everything right now without shaping you first, you'd struggle to hold it. The same people who doubt you today would try to own your story tomorrow. And the very blessings meant to elevate you might end up overwhelming you. But Allah is too merciful for that. So He hides you, He works on you, He builds you, He protects you, and then He unveils you in a way where no one can take the credit. Your friends won't be able to say, we made them. Your enemies won't be able to claim, we stopped them. Your family won't be able to say, it was us. Everyone will know, it was Allah. That's why the victory is silent before it's loud. Because the silence prepares you for a noise you couldn't handle right now. And one day soon, you'll wake up and realize that every unanswered dua, every closed door, every delayed dream was simply Allah whispering, wait my servant, I'm building something better. And when He finally unveils it, you won't just thank Him for the blessing. You'll thank Him for the silence too. My brother, my sister, you keep thinking nothing is happening. You keep looking at your life, your unanswered duas, your closed doors, and wondering why Allah is so silent. But silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means everything is happening, just not where you can see it. When a seed is planted, the most important work happens underground. It looks still on the surface, but roots are growing deeper, foundations are being strengthened, life is being prepared. That's what's happening with you right now. In this exact moment, your name is being written into stories you haven't stepped into yet. Your provision is being aligned with moments you haven't reached yet. People you haven't met yet are being prepared to honor the version of you Allah is shaping in silence. The world doesn't see it yet, but heaven does. Angels already know what's coming. And when it comes, you'll realize why Allah made you wait. But I know waiting isn't easy, because while you wait, people talk. Some whisper that you've failed, some assume you're forgotten, others move ahead of you. And it hurts to watch them bloom while you're still planted in the soil. And yet, Allah tells us, indeed, Allah loves those who are patient. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:153. Do you know why? Because patience in the silence is one of the greatest tests of faith. It means believing Allah is working for you, even when everything around you, it feels like He isn't. The Prophet ﷺ waited 40 years before receiving the first revelation. 40 years of silence, 40 years of preparation, 40 years of hidden victories nobody could see. And then in a single moment, everything changed. A command came down from the heavens, Iqra, read, and history shifted forever. One moment of unveiling after a lifetime of silence. That's how Allah works. So He builds in private before He elevates in public. He writes your story in quiet before He lets the world read it out loud. So if your life feels silent right now, don't panic. Don't think you've been overlooked. Don't think Allah has forgotten you, because your silence today is proof that something is growing. And here's the beauty of divine timing. When Allah unveils you, you won't have to announce yourself. You won't need to prove your worth. You won't need to chase validation. Your growth will be so loud that your silence will explain everything. Those who doubted you will see what patience can build. Those who mocked you quietly will be silenced by what Allah does publicly. And those who left you will realize Allah was teaching you, that you never needed them in the first place. Because when Allah writes your victory, no one can erase it. This is why He's keeping it quiet right now. Not because you're forgotten, not because you're behind, but because He's preparing something. That will leave no room for anyone else to take credit. If people saw what Allah was building, they'd try to shape it. If they knew what was coming, they'd try to stop it. But they can't stop what Allah has decreed for you. So He hides you, He works on you, He prepares you in private. And then when everything is ready, He unveils you so beautifully that even you'll whisper, Subhanallah, this could only be Him. And when that moment comes, you'll realize something powerful. It was never about proving them wrong. It was never about making them believe in you. It was never about the noise. It was about becoming the person Allah already knew you could be. It was about learning to trust Him when you couldn't see a way forward. It was about finding your voice in silence, your strength in surrender, your faith in the waiting. And when the unveiling happens, it won't just be loud for the world. It'll be loud for your heart too. It'll make sense of every unanswered dua, every lonely night, every quiet season where you thought nothing was happening, because all along, everything was happening. So breathe. Stop questioning the silence. Stop rushing the timing, and stop comparing your journey to people who bloom quickly but break just as fast. Allah is planting you deeper, so your rise will be stronger. He's keeping it quiet now, so your unveiling will be undeniable later. And when it finally comes, your victory will be so loud that no one will ever question the power of His plan again. Until then, stay rooted in trust, because the quiet seasons are where Allah writes the loudest chapters. You don't need their validation. My brother, my sister, you've spent so much of your life trying to make them see you, trying to make them understand your worth, trying to convince them that you are enough. You've changed yourself, you've shrunk yourself, you've exhausted yourself just to earn their approval. And yet somehow it's never enough. Their silence hurts, their doubts cut deep. Their whispers echo louder in your mind than the sound of your own prayers. And slowly, you've started believing that their opinion defines you, that their applause validates you, that their rejection erases you. But listen to me carefully. You don't need them to see you when Allah already chose you. Their validation is not your oxygen. Their approval is not your risk. Their applause is not your destiny. Your value does not begin when they finally notice you, and it does not end when they choose to walk away. Before they ever formed an opinion about you, Allah already wrote your name. Before you ever spoke a word, before you ever succeeded or failed, before you ever broke or healed, Allah had already chosen you for a story only He could write. Your provision, your path, your tests, your victories, none of it is in their hands. It never was. It never will be. So why are you exhausting your heart to win the approvals of people who can't even control the next beat of their own hearts? Do you know what Allah says? Say, indeed, my prayer, my sacrifice, my life and my death are for Allah, Lord of the worlds. Surah Al-An'am 6:162. Your purpose was never to be liked by everyone. Your goal was never to make everyone clap for you. Your journey was never meant to be understood by every soul, because if they could see what Allah sees, they'd realize you're still in construction. If they could hear what Allah hears, they'd know the prayers you cry when no one's watching. If they could witness what Allah is preparing, they'd understand why He's keeping your unveiling a secret. But they can't see, they don't hear, they don't know, and that's why their opinion doesn't define you. The Prophet ﷺ taught us something powerful. If every person on earth gathered together to give you something Allah hasn't written for you, they couldn't. And if they all gathered to take away what Allah has decreed for you, they couldn't. Everything is already written. So stop chasing hands that were never holding your destiny. Stop exhausting your soul to sit at tables Allah never set for you. Stop proving your worth to those who don't even see their own. Your rizq isn't in their pockets. Your honor isn't in their words. Your future isn't in their hands. Everything you're searching for is already with Allah. And here's the beautiful truth. When Allah decides to raise you, you won't need to ask anyone's permission. You won't need their signatures. You won't need their applause, because when He says be, everything else falls into place. Think of Yusuf alayhi salam. His own brothers rejected him. They plotted against him. They threw him into a well. They erased his name from their story. And yet they couldn't erase him from Allah's plan. Years later, those same brothers stood in front of him without even recognizing the very person they tried to destroy. That's what happens when you stop chasing people and start trusting Allah. He elevates you in ways that make their opinions irrelevant. He writes victories so loud that no one can take the credit. And when that moment comes, you'll finally understand why He delayed certain doors, why He removed certain people, why He made their silence so painfully loud in your life, because Allah didn't want your faith to depend on their applause. He didn't want your worth to be tied to their validation. He wanted you free. He wanted you anchored to the one who never changes. And when you stop needing them, that's when you truly find Him. You've been begging the wrong hearts to see your value. When the one who created you never stopped seeing you, you've been waiting for their acceptance. When the Lord of the heavens already wrote your name among those He guides, protects, and loves. So breathe and let them doubt you, let them misunderstand you, let them walk away if they choose. Because one day, when Allah unveils what He's been building in you, the same people who dismissed you will be silent. The same voices that questioned you will have no words left. And in that moment, you'll realize that their opinion was never the point. All along, it was between you and Allah. Do you know why their words hurt so much? Because somewhere along the way, you gave them permission to decide your worth. You allowed their silence to echo louder than Allah's promises. You let their doubts bury the dreams Allah placed in your heart. You let their rejection convince you that you're less than what you are. But listen carefully, their opinion doesn't change Allah's plan. He didn't consult them when He wrote your story. He didn't ask their approval before He gave you your soul. He didn't wait for their applause before He called you His servant. Everything you are, everything you're becoming, and everything you'll achieve was already written long before their names were even known to you. So why do you exhaust your heart trying to please people who can't even see your destiny? Allah says, and Allah is the best of planners. Surah Al-Imran 3:54. If the best of planners has already decreed your path, why hand the pen to people who don't even understand the story? You've been begging for their validation while Allah has already validated you. Every breath you take is proof, and every heartbeat is a reminder. Every sunrise is a quiet whisper from Him. I chose you to live this day. I gave you this chance. You are worthy because I made you. Think about that for a moment. You are worthy simply because Allah created you. You don't need to perform for anyone to earn that worth. You don't need to wear masks to be loved by the one who formed you in secret. You don't need their claps. You don't need their likes. You don't need their attention. You already have the attention of the Lord of the worlds. The Prophet ﷺ once said, whoever seeks the pleasure of Allah, even if it angers the people, Allah will be pleased with him, and He will make the people pleased with him too. And whoever seeks the pleasure of the people at the cost of angering Allah, Allah will be angry with him, and He will make the people angry with him too. Sunan Ibn Majah. Do you understand what that means? It means the moment you stop chasing people and start seeking Allah, everything shifts. You gain a peace they can't take away. You walk with dignity that they can't explain. You rise with strength they never expected. And when Allah decides to raise you, you won't need to announce it. Your rise will be so clear, so divine, that no voice on this earth can take the credit. That's why He lets them doubt you now. That's why He lets them underestimate you. That's why He allows their whispers to surround your silence. Because one day when He unveils you, there will be no confusion. It won't be your doing. It won't be their help. It'll be Allah's signature all over your story. And you'll realize something powerful. You never needed them. You never needed their validation, their praise, their approval. All you ever needed was Allah's mercy. And you've had it all along. And so let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them misunderstand it. Let them leave if they want to. None of it changes who you are to Allah. None of it changes what He has written for you. None of it delays the blessings already on their way. Because when Allah decides, nothing and no one can stand in the way. And one day you'll look back at this exact season and smile. You'll realize that their silence was protection. Their rejection was redirection. Their absence was divine alignment. They weren't meant to validate you. They were meant to push you closer to the only one who matters. And in that moment, you'll thank Allah for every unanswered text, every closed door, every person who walked away. Because if they had stayed, you would have relied on them. But Allah wanted you to rely on Him alone. That's the kind of love He has for you. A love that protects you, even from the things you thought you needed. So stop explaining yourself and stop proving yourself and stop performing for an audience that was never meant to understand you. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. Right now, Allah sees you. He hears you. He knows you. And when He decides it's your time, you won't need to chase validation. It'll come searching for you. Because the one who owns the hearts of people will turn those hearts in your favor without you having to lift a finger. Until then, walk with quiet dignity. Seek Allah's pleasure above theirs. Anchor your worth to Him and watch how He writes a story so beautiful, so undeniable, that every voice that once doubted you will fall silent. And in that silence, you'll finally understand. You never needed them. You only ever needed Him. Allah finishes what He starts. My brother, my sister, do you know why your heart feels heavy? Because you keep looking at your life, and all you see are unfinished chapters. Dreams you thought would happen by now. Doors you've been whispering for years. Doors you believed would open, but they're still closed. And deep down, you've started to wonder, maybe this is it. Maybe Allah has stopped writing my story. Maybe He's left me here. But listen carefully. Allah never leaves a story unfinished. The author of your destiny always finishes what He starts. Right now, you're standing in the middle of the process. It doesn't look like progress because you can't see what's happening behind the curtain. But just because you can't see it doesn't mean He isn't moving. Allah says, and He is the one who begins the creation, then He will repeat it, and that is even easier for Him. Surah Ar-Rum 30:27. The one who began your story knows exactly how it ends. Think about it. When you were nothing but a silent prayer, in your mother's womb, He shaped you perfectly. He gave you life. He wrote every breath you'd ever take, every step you'd ever walk, every heartbreak you'd ever face, and every blessing that would carry your name. Do you really think the one who was so intentional with your beginning will abandon you in the middle? Never. Right now, you feel like your life is on pause. Everyone else seems to be moving forward, finding love, achieving milestones, reaching places you're still dreaming of. And you keep asking yourself, why not me? Why am I still here? Why hasn't Allah given me what I've been praying for? But my dear soul, delay is not abandonment. Silence is not neglect. And the author of your story is still writing. And here's what you need to know about Allah. When He begins something, He never leaves it half-built. He doesn't start forming you, healing you, or preparing you only to leave you stranded. Every trial you're going through right now is shaping you for a chapter you haven't reached yet. Look at the story of Musa alayhi salam. As a baby, he was placed in a river, floating away from his mother. From the outside, it looked like abandonment. But behind the scenes, Allah was writing a story so precise, so divine, that every chapter lined up perfectly. That baby in the river was raised in the house of Pharaoh, taught strength in the desert, and chosen to lead his people out of oppression. What looked like chaos was actually perfect preparation. That's what your life feels like right now. It looks messy. It feels delayed. But one day you'll look back and whisper, Subhanallah. He was aligning everything all along. Maybe you feel like you've fallen too far behind. Maybe you think you've made too many mistakes. Maybe you believe you've missed your chance. But Allah says, do not despair of the mercy of Allah. Indeed, Allah forgives all sins. Surah Az-Zumar 39:53. There is nothing you've done, nowhere you've been, and no path you've taken that can take you outside of what Allah can rewrite. Because the one who begins also restores. The one who writes also rewrites. The one who gives also forgives. So stop believing the lie that this is the end. It isn't. It was never meant to be. Right now, your heartbreak, your delays, your unanswered du'as, they're not signs of abandonment. They're proof that Allah is still building the version of you He promised you'd become. And when He's done, you'll rise into a chapter that makes sense of all the ones before it. Do you know why Allah tests you? Not to break you, not to punish you, not to humiliate you. He tests you because He sees something in you you can't see in yourself yet. He tests you because He's preparing you for responsibilities you don't yet understand. He tests you because He wants to build a faith in you so deep that nothing in this world can shake you again. And that's why He doesn't rush the process. He takes His time with masterpieces. If He revealed everything too soon, you'd carry blessings with hands that weren't strong enough yet. You'd hold opportunities with a heart not ready to protect them. You'd step into chapters you didn't yet have the strength to live. So He slows you down, not to withhold from you, but to prepare you for more. And one day you'll understand why every no was necessary, why every heartbreak had meaning, why every unanswered dua was actually being answered in ways you couldn't yet see, because Allah always finishes what He starts. Right now, behind the silence you hate, angels are moving for you. Opportunities are aligning in ways you'll only recognize later. Names are being connected to yours in places you haven't stepped into yet. Blessings are being written into your story with a precision you couldn't comprehend even if you tried. And when it unfolds, it'll be so beautiful, so perfectly timed that you'll fall into sujood and whisper, Ya Allah, I would wait 1,000 more days if this is what you had prepared for me. Because when Allah finally unveils you, it won't just be loud, it'll be undeniable. The very people who doubted you will stand silent. The very voices that whispered against you will fade into the background. And even you will struggle to believe that this is your story. But it will be, because the one who began it never stopped writing. My brother, my sister, and there are moments in life where it feels like you're stuck between what you prayed for and what hasn't arrived yet. You wake up each day with hope, but as the sun sets, you whisper into your pillow, Ya Allah, when? You see others moving forward, celebrating milestones, living dreams you're still begging for. And deep down you ask yourself, am I forgotten? Did Allah leave me behind? But hear me clearly. Allah never leaves His servants halfway, and the one who begins your story will always finish it. He is Al-Latif, the most subtle. He is Al-Hakim, the most wise. He is Al-Mu'min, the giver of safety, the protector of every detail. You cannot yet see. When He slows you down, it's not neglect, it's precision. When He delays your blessing, it's not punishment, it's preparation. When He hides the next chapter, it's not rejection, it's divine timing. And think of it this way. A builder doesn't invite the world to watch the foundation being laid. It's messy, it's hidden, it's unglamorous. But without it, the house will collapse. That's your life right now. The foundation is being laid in silence. You don't see the blueprint, but the architect never loses sight of it. One day when the house stands tall, you'll realize why the digging was so deep, why the groundwork took so long, and why the noise came later. Allah is not done with you, not even close. Look at the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam. He was promised a child, but years passed in silence. Every season, the world looked the same. At every dua, the answer seemed delayed. But when Allah fulfilled the promise, it was in a way no one expected. An old man, a barren wife, and yet a child was born. Because when Allah writes a chapter, He writes it against all odds. to prove His power. That's how He finishes stories. Not quietly, not simply, but in a way so perfect that everyone will know it was Him all along. So if your life feels paused right now, don't lose hope. Because if Allah has started something in you, healing, faith, growth, dreams, He will complete it. Allah says, do not weaken and do not grieve, and you will be superior if you are true believers. Surah Ali Imran 3:139. Even your pain has purpose. Even your waiting has weight. Even your silence is sacred. I know it's hard. I know you've cried into your pillow with no one to hear you but Allah. I know you've stared at unanswered du'as and wondered if your voice is lost in the noise of the world. But I promise you, every whisper reaches Him. Every tear is recorded. Every quiet prayer is stored in a vault of mercy that never expires. And one day, when you least expect it, you'll step into a chapter. That makes sense of all the nights. You thought He was silent because Allah was never silent. He was setting the stage and He was aligning the lights and He was perfecting the script so that when the curtain finally rises, your story will leave no doubt this was Him, always Him. And here's the beauty of Allah's promise. When He brings you to the blessing, you won't arrive as the same person who once begged for it. You'll arrive stronger, wiser, softer, more grateful. Because He doesn't just prepare the blessing for you, yet He prepares you for the blessing. That's why it takes time. That's why the journey feels longer. Because your heart, your faith, and your soul are being shaped to hold what you once thought you couldn't carry. And when it comes, you'll look back at every heartbreak, every delay, every rejection, and you'll whisper, Subhanallah, it had to happen this way. My dear soul, you're not forgotten, you're not behind, you are not overlooked. Right now, angels are writing your name next to blessings you can't even imagine. Doors are being carved in walls you thought were permanent. Opportunities are moving toward you faster than you think. And when it all unfolds, your only response will be tears, tears of relief, tears of gratitude, tears of awe at a Lord who never leaves anything unfinished. Because the author of your story always finishes what He starts. So breathe, rest your heart, and trust Him. The silence isn't the end. The delay isn't a denial. The pain isn't punishment. It's Allah shaping you in private for a chapter so beautiful it will make every sleepless night worth it. And when the unveiling comes, you'll finally see what your heart has been aching to believe. He was never late. He was always writing. And He always finishes what He starts. Stop proving them wrong. Let Allah finish. My brother, my sister, you've spent so much of your life trying to prove yourself to people who were never written to understand you. You've broken yourself, trying to fit into spaces you were never meant to belong to. You've exhausted your heart, trying to earn the respect of those who were never assigned. To honor your journey, and yet somehow, no matter how much you do, it's never enough. They doubt you, they misunderstand you. Some quietly mock you, some compare you, some measure you by a past Allah already forgave. And deep down, you've started to believe that your worth depends on them. That if they clap for you, you're valuable. And if they stay silent, you're nothing. But listen carefully. You were never created to prove anything to anyone. Before a single person spoke your name, Allah had already chosen you. Before they ever whispered about you, He had already written your victory. Before they doubted your ability, He had already decreed your success. Their opinions are temporary. Allah's decree is eternal. You've been exhausting your soul, fighting battles Allah never asked you to fight. You've been chasing validation from people who cannot give you risk, cannot write your destiny, and cannot stop a single blessing. Allah has written for you. Stop giving them so much power over a story they didn't write. Do you know what Allah says? Sufficient for us is Allah, and He is the best disposer of affairs. Surah Ali Imran 3:173. Do you know what that means? It means you don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to fight for recognition. Because when Allah decides something for you, it happens with or without their approval. Think about Yusuf alayhi salam. His own brothers plotted against him. They threw him into a well. They erased him from their story. But they couldn't erase him from Allah's plan. Years later, those same brothers that stood before him needing the help of the very person they once left to die. He didn't need to prove them wrong. He didn't need to justify his worth. He didn't need to scream, "Look at me now." He simply let Allah finish the story. That's what you need to do too. My dear soul, stop fighting battles that were never yours to fight. Stop arguing with people who were never meant to understand you. Stop wasting your energy trying to change the opinions of hearts Allah has already closed. Because when Allah unveils His plan for you, you won't need explanations, you won't need defenses, you won't need validation. Your silence will speak louder than their doubts ever did. And here's the most beautiful part. When the unveiling comes, it won't just silence them. It'll heal you. It'll make sense of every sleepless night, every broken prayer, every quiet season where you thought nothing was happening. Right now you feel hidden and you feel delayed. You feel like your life is stuck in the shadows of their judgment. But you're not stuck. You're being shaped. You're being refined. You're being prepared for a chapter so big that it requires you to stop proving yourself and start trusting Allah. Because here's the truth, and if Allah revealed you too soon, they'd credit themselves. They'd think they made you. They'd assume your rise was because of them. But when Allah finishes His work in silence and then unveils you, there will be no confusion. Everyone, even you, will know this was Allah and Allah alone. Let them talk, let them misunderstand, let them walk away if they choose. None of it can change what Allah has already written for you. And one day soon you'll wake up and find yourself standing in the very life you once thought was impossible. You'll look around and the silence will be replaced with His signs everywhere. The very doors they said were closed to you will open effortlessly. The very opportunities they said you'd never touch will arrive at your feet. And the very people who thought you'd never rise will be silent. Not because you proved them wrong, but because Allah proved Himself right. And do you understand now why He's keeping it quiet, why He's hiding you, why He hasn't rushed your unveiling yet? Because He's writing a chapter so divine, so undeniable that when it comes, you won't have to announce it and it will announce itself. My brother, my sister, I know you're tired and tired of explaining yourself, tired of justifying your worth, tired of proving your heart to people who were never written to understand it. But listen to me carefully. You don't have to fight for your name. You don't have to beg for your place. You don't have to convince a single soul of what Allah has already decreed. The people you're trying so hard to impress don't hold the pen to your story. They don't control your risk. They don't determine your worth. They don't decide your ending. Allah does. And when He decides, no opinion matters. Think about the story of Musa alayhi salam. When he stood at the edge of the sea, behind him was Pharaoh's army, and in front of him was a wall of water. From the outside, it looked like the end. Defeat seemed certain, but what did Musa say? Indeed, my Lord is with me, and He will guide me. Surah Ash-Shu'ara 26:62. And in that very moment, Allah split the sea. What everyone thought was the end became the beginning. And that's what happens when you stop trying to prove yourself and simply trust the one who writes miracles into silence. You've been chasing their approval for so long that you've forgotten the only approval that matters, Allah's. Because the moment you anchor your heart to Him, something incredible happens. The same people who dismissed you can no longer define you. Their silence can't shrink you. Their doubts can't touch you. Their rejection can't break you. Why? Because you finally realize you were never small in the first place. You were chosen by Allah. Do you remember the words of the Prophet, peace be upon him? Be mindful of Allah and He will protect you. Be mindful of Allah and you will find Him before you. Know that if the whole world were to gather to harm you with something that Allah has not written against you, they could never harm you. And if they gathered to give you something Allah has not decreed for you, they could never give it. Sunan al-Tirmidhi. Do you see? No whisper can harm you. No doubt can stop you. No voice can silence what Allah has destined. So breathe, let go, and surrender. Because here's the truth. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. Right now, you are in the quiet part of your story. The part where Allah writes silently. The part where He builds in secret. The part where the world sees nothing. But heaven is busy with your name. Behind the scenes, angels are carrying your du'as to places your feet haven't reached yet. Doors are being carved into walls you thought were permanent. Opportunities are being lined up with divine precision. And one day, when Allah decides He will unveil you so beautifully that the same people who doubted you won't have words to speak. But here's the most important part. It won't even matter anymore. By the time Allah raises you, you won't be seeking their approval. You won't crave their applause. You won't need their validation. Because Allah will have shown you that His love, His plan, and His timing were always enough. And in that moment, you'll realize that you didn't win by proving them wrong. You won by letting Allah finish what He started. So stop explaining yourself. Stop fighting shadows. Stop wasting your strength on voices that were never meant to guide you. Because when Allah finally unveils you, it won't require a single word from you. Your silence will speak, your growth will speak, your story will speak, and the entire world will see what Allah was building while you were hidden. My brother, my sister, let go of the weight of their opinions. Release the chains of their validation. Stop proving them wrong. Instead, prove to yourself that Allah was always enough. Walk quietly, pray deeply, trust completely, and wait. Not with fear, but with certainty. Because when Allah finishes what He started, you won't need to speak. You'll just rise, and your rise will be so loud, so undeniable, that even your silence will glorify Him. And when that moment comes, you'll whisper through your tears, Ya Allah, you were writing all along. I just couldn't see it. I thought I was forgotten, but I was always chosen.